Well, hello guys, welcome back. So, old timers know I've done this video before, but I think this was finally, buying the furs was a huge part of this, finally breaking down and not being so obstinate, and buying the horns was a part of it. And one of you had commented, and I kind of knew what Odin was after, but I have a magical way of going la 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 la, I don't want to hear that, which is why I tell you guys not to do it. For years, you guys that watch the channel know he's been like pushing me straight on into heathenry. He's like, your place is here with us doing my stuff. Loki stuff too, but mostly the old man stuff. It'll balance out. And the other gods were like, well, if I need something, or this one needs something, or that one needs something, as long as it's a Norse god, he's fine. And, in typical olden fashion, he says, if you would just stay here like you're supposed to, you can have the Vanir, you can have the Aesir, and you can have Jotnar for all he cares. He's half. But he's, I gain this sense of pride from Loki. But he says, you have to stay here. You're either going to stay here or, insert visual imagery of Thor getting his hammer and a nail at this point. And he's like, I will nail you to the floor. And, I get it. I get it. What Odin's been pushing for, and the person who commented it was something not in this video, is that, sometimes they ask us for a hard sacrifice. It's hard enough making a monetary sacrifice, especially when you're like, oh my god, how am I going to afford all this? And you're just taking a leap of faith. No, please don't do that if you have bills coming up. But making a spiritual leap is really hard, because you're leaving all your other little bridges behind, and you're going the whole way into heathenry, and that can be a lot for God to ask. Odin knows that. Odin knows that. 1 second, please, guys. Allergies. Terribly sorry. Sorry about that, but it's what Odin wants. It's where I belong. I've been getting dreams, lots and lots of dreams of this is where you belong. And I can tell the old man's been extremely patient for years, but I can tell because of a couple scary dreams I had lately, like, he loves me, but if he has to chase me in a dream and terrify me witless to make a point, he's going to. If he has to throw me down wells in meditation, he's going to. It's like, I wouldn't do this. I would be really nice, Bioski, but you're starting to get on my nerves. And I've never gotten hurt in the dreams or anything. It's always startled me and maybe scared me, but he's never hurt me. And as I was talking back and forth with the person, I had asked Odin if he was ready to tell me what this thing is I feel he wants. And I kind of knew, but I didn't, because I have like I said, the tendency to go la la la. I drew the runes and I got Hagalas, which does not mean that impending disaster is coming in. It's like, I know it sucks. You gave up all your other gods, and here you are. And you're looking around at all this destruction, because it's just not just, but it's pure Nordic energy around you now. And you're freaking out, and you're thinking of all the bad times. Like, when I started researching more into heathenry, I researched the worst possible people without knowing it. So my journey into heathenry has been all this crazy stuff, unlearning the crazy stuff, then learning that half the heathens, at least out there it seems, believe the crazy stuff. And I'm not just talking about rhymes with Hulkish. I'm talking about certain literalists that, please don't heathen that way. There's nothing wrong with a literal interpretation of the stories. You can literally believe about the runes. You can literally believe about the old man hanging on the royal tree, but we're not fundamentalist, or we shouldn't be. It's a scary look on a heathen. I got, yep. You just have to turn on Grimfrost or Ocean or something else to watch them kill your view that our stories were handed down unchanged and sacred. People always change the stories all the time. So the stories we have now, while useful, while teaching us grand lessons, may be horribly wrong. If you would get in a time machine with Bill and Ted and go back and hear the very first tales, you'd be like, these stories aren't this at all. Like, there's this treasure trove that was found with coins of the old man. It was found pretty recently. You can go watch Dr. Jackson Crawford. You should see what the old man looks like. If that is indeed Odin, and it's not some prince or something with remarkably the same name. I mean, archaeology is the art of educated guessing. if that is meant to be the old man, because it seems to be, then he looked completely different. He looked young and he had this elaborate headdress, and I'm going to say the wrong group, but it reminded me of Yoruba or something because it looked like he had hair in braids, which our ancestors did as well, but different kind of braids, beaded and put up in like almost a conical shape, or he was wearing some type of elaborate headdress. It was really hard to tell. Beardless, very young. And I'm like, okay, my mind's blown. Because how did we go from that to the elder that we all respect, even though we have etymologies that say red hair and brown hair, and little bear's my favorite. And it's just it's something else. So it's been a thing of him, like, other people have said about you have to step on up in the show well, because I have a lot of heathens that watch, and I'm thankful for you all. I am. And it is. It's like he's like, you have to come over here full time. I know you don't like the Brawlhalla people. I know you don't like the Hulkish people. I know, there's a lot you don't like. And the other night we had a fight because I saw someone that claims to speak for him. And think of the worst evangelical preacher you've seen that takes advantage of poor people and lives in a mansion and has his own private jet. This is the heathen version of that, and I just was instantly filled with rage, and poor Odin just caught it. And then I think it was actually Boulder that had to explain that, that's the same exact thing, just as that leader is not a representative of his god because he's taking advantage of the poorest of the poor. This is not a representation of the All-Father, that this shouldn't be happening, and, we shouldn't be trying to create division. Heathens can't stand each other now. The last thing we need to be doing is shouting at each other from the ramparts. I go, yeah. So, they're getting drinking horns. They're going to be they're going to be small. Odin let me actually think what I was ordering was the great big horn. And I think it's not only a metaphor for it's okay to start off small, because this will be a wee drinking horn. I'm like thinking like the size of my hand, like from between the two fingers. That's it. I'm thinking 6 inches if I'm lucky. I went and I looked up like a kid's drinking horn because the guy actually made a video of it. This developer, artisan, whatever you want to call him, and his looked kind of big, like not as tiny as I'm thinking, but horns are all different. But he had his child have one, and it wasn't the tiniest thing in the world. But then I went on Grimfrost, and I looked up what their 5-ounce size is, and it's like just a little bit bigger than a shot glass. So I don't know, but Loki's comes in Monday. So if you guys are interested in that, that will come in Monday. Again, guys, I know I keep saying I go into these cycles where I'm buying a lot of stuff, and I keep saying you don't have to buy stuff, except when it's important to the gods. Loki has for over a decade been after a horn. So has the old man. I work with a lot of Norse gods. They understand I just don't have the money to go out and buy 20 horns or whatever. It could probably be that many too. And, they understand that. They're going to be content with the two brothers getting everything. And I was getting like this imagery of all the gods passing these horns around, like, it's okay, we understand you have a big heart, you would like to order 10 more horns, but it's just not going to be possible. And they're those wee horns that you wear at a Ren fair. They're not, geared towards anything else. So it would be a thing of trying to hold more than 2 horns. It would be physically impossible. So they're all like, you'll use 1 horn per ritual at a time, and it's just a thing of Odin wanting his horn and Loki wanting his. And so they'll have their horns. Odin's pelt should come in Tuesday, and we're still waiting on some groceries that they didn't ship, or they're shipping later. I did indulge Loki in some Kinder eggs. That's supposed to be Yule. I said, I have so much now. I don't want anything. I truly don't. I said, I just want to put good food on the table for Yule. I'll be happy. I said, you guys have your furs, and it feels like Yule. And we have the furs in there. We have this coyote I mistake for the real thing. Well, it's the real thing every time I go in there. I said, we have enough. I feel blessed. I feel happy. And they'll have their horns, even if they be small ones. And, realistically, I can't go outside to conduct a ritual. I can't. They know that. We've spoken about this. Every time I go out, my looky-loo neighbors, hyper-Christian neighbor that likes to blast Christian music in my direction, is out there. If I go out there with a horn, I'm not going to have any privacy. Plus, there's traffic driving literally like within feet of me. You guys have seen some of the older things. There's no place for me to practice in private. There's no Hoff that I know of, and something's going around right now. So all of my practices I do indoors. I used to try to go out and pour libations outside, but I did not. It was like bad magic. Almost every time I'd be out there, he'd be out there and he'd be staring at me, or there'd be cars going by. And I think what you do for the gods should be, between you and the gods. I don't have a sense of shame or anything, but I don't think it's anybody else's business either. So we gradually got away from that. I do all my offerings inside, which is why I also don't bury stuff outside, because everybody's dog and people and randos, could go through the yard. It's kind of like what people use as a byway. So there's really no privacy for me to practice. But if you guys like what you see, like, comment, surprise, like, comment, surprise. Yeah, surprise me. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Bye bye.